Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor, and this is the Achieve with Dr. C broadcast. Hope everyone is having a great, sizzling hot summer. I know I am. It's been one of my more restful ones, mostly because of what I'm going to be talking to you about today. And I just want to start off by saying, make my attorney happy. This is not medical or psychological or psychiatric advice. I am sharing my personal opinion with you. These things that I suggest to you are for your own self coaching and in no way supposed to take the place of you seeing your own medical professional, mental and health and spiritual um, help professional. I don't even know what I was going to say. But anyway, I want to talk to you today about a subject that helps you rebuild your life. You know, we've been talking about rebuilding your life the few times I've gotten on, because of course I took this hair. I took vacation and I came on right after my vacation, and now I'm trying to catch up. But rebuilding your life is an important subject for me to speak from because of all of the um, issues we've had over the last 3 years. Just most of us, our lives, professions, relationships, work, everything has been totally upended and disrupted. Because of that, many are struggling with depression. High functioning depression is epidemic. And the results of that type of depression is you're just slogging through life. You're on autopilot. You're getting things done, but you're numb inside. You're not happy. You're not unhappy. You're just blah. And high functioning depression needs a trigger to throw you fully off a ledge of full blown situational depression or major depression, and all of those things that can be so damaging to your well being. So, I want to talk to you today about self control because it's something that is so lacking in society right now, especially with the advent and overuse of social media. Many of us are social broadcasters. We put all our business out here. And when I say we, mine is very controlled, believe it or not. You may think you know a lot about me, but the best parts of my life never make it to social media. Very strategic with what I post and when I post and who I post on. Very strategic. I do it for a purpose. And self control is lacking. A lot of people confuse it with the soul self discipline or with um, self abuse, unhappiness. Some people consider self control boring. I don't know why. Um, but there is a disdain for this spiritual discipline in the church, especially. People are doing all kinds of things in the name of the Lord and thinking they're getting away with it or thinking they can do people the way they do them and that nothing's going to happen. It's just like in the days of Noah. They were saying, oh, we will eat, drink, and be merry just like before. And he started talking about the flood and rain coming down, and people were like, oh, hush, it's going to water. We don't get rain. What's rain? They didn't even know. And when you talk to people about this spiritual fruit, it's one of the fruit of the spirit, not fruits. It's all inclusive. The fruit of the spirit. Self control is so important because God gave you dominion over yourself. You are the expert in you. And there are things that are important to your life, your success, your well-being, your overall health, that God's not going to do it for you. You can pray all you want. Some things I tell people you don't need to pray about. God's given you a righteous mind and he's told you what to do. Problem is, many of us lack self-control. Self-control, I summed it up. It's a product, if you read the Bible and you believe the Bible, Galatians 5:23 talks about it's a product of the Holy Spirit, of the indwelling. Its ability to delay gratification, contain your behaviors so that you do things and you make decisions that benefit yourself. And that's where the rub comes in. A lot of us do things that don't benefit us in the long term. We don't like the word self-control. We don't like delayed gratification. We don't like to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. We want to do whatever we want, whenever we want. And then we want to listen to someone once we hit a brick wall or our lives become in a crisis. Then we want to listen. Then we're all open to, what do I do? Self-control is preemptive, protective, and it makes you very attractive to God. Because his eyes are roaming to and fro about the earth, looking for someone he can use. He can't use you if you don't have discipline and self-control. If you don't master yourself, you can't help anyone. And even though you may have the appearance of self-mastery or self-control, if you lack it in certain areas of your life, it will show up eventually. So it's that unseen discipline many of us lack and don't like. So let's get into it. Because without self-control, you're never going to slay your demons. You're never going to go the direction of your goals and get there. You're never going to be able to look yourself in the eye in the mirror. You're going to self-sabotage. You're going to manipulate, use other people, and do things in an ungodly manner because you're trying to get what you want without mastering yourself. Okay? Delaying gratification. So let's talk about this some more, because we all are tempted to do many things every day. I know I am. I'd be a liar. I get tempted to cuss people out when I'm driving in my car. I get tempted to spend money I don't have to spend and get off my budget simply because I want something. I'm tempted to do things with this body like eat too much, drink, smoke, something. There's so many temptations. You have your own, I have my own. How do you overcome those things that derail you? How do you consistently build up to a point where you have self-mastery so that you can tell yourself no, and you can stop that ish that you need to stop and develop habits, behaviors, and conduct that benefits you? So let's talk about that. Self-control is important. It's one of the most important things you can teach your children, because children come here without self-control. They're not wired for self-control. They're takers. And many of us still stay in that same childish behavior of being a taker in our lives. We never get to the point where we exercise self-control. over our desires and our immediate gratification. Okay? It's important because if you don't have self control, you are controlled by your whims, by your temporary emotions. You make permanent decisions in temporary situations. Okay? That's why it's important so you can become your best self. You need the beauty of self control. So, when you die to yourself, when you surrender to long term gratification over this temporary, pleasurable moment to get that one feeling, you will find the feelings you get once you exercise self control, they last, they're permanent. It's a state of being, it's a mindset you develop where you're not self abusive, you're not negative, you're not always saying no, you're saying yes, but. Did you catch that? Because telling yourself no is a quick way to make yourself want what you want when you want it. Learning to tell yourself yes, but is a great way to exercise self control because you can say, yes, I want this, but I'm going to say not at this time so I can get where I'm trying to get to. Weight loss requires getting up out the bed, going and exercising, pushing back from the table, drinking your water, taking your vitamins, and exercise. All of those things require your self control and telling yourself, yes, but, so you can be your best self. It's that important to learn and to develop self control. It's not going to just happen. Sometimes making the decision to control yourself and not give in to your whims and your temporary thoughts is a moment to moment, breath by breath decision. It is tough when you're breaking a habit, an addiction, or you're fighting your way out of anxiety and depression. Self control can help you do that. And it's not self will, but yes, you cannot control yourself without higher power, belief in God, belief in more than that moment, knowing time does not offer time to anyone. Time is a taker. It is a limited resource. You can't get back once you spend it. So when it comes to self control, it's exchanging time to benefit yourself. I said that early on. That's one of the reasons why you need self mastery or self control. So you don't give in to your whims that will take you this way and that way in the moment. Okay? It is hard and frustrating. I won't lie. This is the most difficult discipline or um, spiritual fruit that I have to work with myself and with others to bring to a level of mastery that's consistent. It's easy to have bursts of greatness. We probably do it every Monday when we say we're going back on our eating program. We do it every week when it comes to, oh, I'm going to go work out next week. And we start out, we don't stay in it, we drop off. Why do you drop off? I think you can say you do that because you haven't mastered your self control. You haven't mastered yourself to tell yourself, I'll do this so I can get here. And here, maybe down the road. I had a lot of people tell me when I started my journey to complete my doctorate, I had more distractors and detractors than I did supporters. Everyone kept saying, that's a long time, 4 or 5 years, girl. Do you know how old you'll be then? I didn't care because you know what? As long as God was gracious to me, I'll still be alive 4 years later. 4 years is going to pass anyway. That's how I think. But I had to develop this mindset. I don't want to make it sound easy. It isn't. Teaching yourself self control, like I said, sometimes is minute to minute. I do it this way. I have a life plan. My life plan is where I write down the achievements I want, the goals I want to meet, not just set. As many of you know that have known me for years, I'm about goal meeting, not goal setting. There's so many systems and ways to set goals out there. Use any of them that work for you. But when it comes to actually meeting those goals, you're going to have to do this work. The things that I teach are how to move the ball forward, how to change your life, how to shift into achievement from goal setting. And it requires self control. Spend some time mastering small decisions first, like when to go to bed. That's a small self mastery, and sleep hygiene is something I'm teaching a lot of people because we're having disturbed sleep. When you have disturbed sleep, you're operating sleep deprived, which is extremely dangerous and stressful on your body. You can't even get a good mindset when you're tired. It's really hard to resist temptation to overeat, to cuss people out in traffic, to do all those things. Self control is very, very, very hard. That's why when you're tortured, like when you want someone to be mind controlled, I shouldn't be sharing this stuff, but when I teach about mind control, when I teach first responders and I help people that are first responders, one of the first things you can do to weaken someone's will is to make them tired, deprive them of rest. And that's why I want, and I tell my sister this, I tell people I love this all the time. Rest is a commandment, not a suggestion. And the quickest way to get me on a bad side is to mess with my sleep. I pray for sleep. I pray for good quality rest. I pray it for others. And I help people set a sleep hygiene. And it's a first decision and choice you can make on your journey for good self discipline or self mastery or self control. And set that with your children, especially getting them ready for school. I tutor reading in schools. It is epidemic how many children are sleep deprived. They don't have a regular bedtime. That was big with my mom. She would shut us down. It wasn't even a question. You're going to bed. Get some rest. Let that be your first action to master yourself and to discipline yourself and to have self control. The second thing you can do is a skill, it's a taught skill. That's why I can talk to you about numerous things that you can exercise self control in before you tackle the big things, like your big goals that you need to meet. Let's start in the areas that make you think better and behave better. Sleep. It's a muscle, it's a skill to do these things, to set your alarm, to tell people, no, I'm going to bed, to keep your devices out of the bedroom, to turn the lights off, or gradually bring the lights down so you tell your body to go to sleep. Another way you can exercise self control is when to get up. Just sleeping until you're not sleepy anymore is, I'm amazed how many people get up 10, 15 minutes before they have to be somewhere. First of all, that's nasty. I, to me, I'm just talking about me. I don't know what your hygiene is, but I take longer than that. So I need to get up where I can leisurely do my thing. That's self control. I master Cheryl, and I don't care who's in my house. This is how we get down in the Carr household. Okay. I have a lot of self control. It is not popular with most people. I go round and round with people about my self control over what I listen to. I don't need noise. I don't need music. I don't need a lot going on because the work I do requires a lot of emotional, mental maturity and thinking. And one of the best areas, the second area you can master yourself in and exercise some self control is what are you listening to? What is playing all day long? It's feeding your mind, it's feeding your spirit. I don't need a lot. I just don't. But that took developing self control over my environment. And yes, it's a privilege because I don't have to worry about someone coming into my home and telling me what to do or a bunch of noise because I have a bunch of people in the house. Yeah, that's, you know, and it's very limited who's in my house. So that's another area. First one, work on your self control over your sleep. How do you do that? How do you apply self control? You start just how you eat an elephant, a bite at a time. You have to make decisions to tell yourself, yes, but. And then look at those areas of your life. You can use my suggestions, or you can decide to tackle the big thing that you need some self control. Is it your eating, sleeping, drinking water, not drinking, not doing drugs, talking to people with a better tone, not being petty, stand out people's business? There's so many things requiring self control. I'm just introducing the subject to you and asking you to look at your own self control. Look at it, decide, am I the master of me? Am I really an expert in me? I can only give you outside in suggestions. You have to listen, decide what's right for you. But I want you to know you need self control. You're not going to get anywhere in life without it. You'll just be talking about it, not being about it. Self control can be had. It starts a little bit at a time, delaying gratification, recognizing the fact that you lack self discipline, you lack self control. And don't beat yourself up. Like I said, it's a learned skill, which means it's never too late. You've never gone so far you can't exercise self control. Isn't that beautiful? It's a fruit of the spirit you can always implement. And I don't want to be messy, but this is something I wish I saw in more men. Sometimes women are more self disciplined because we carry babies, we have the children, we're the ones nurturing the babies. And I'm talking about good mothers, not just breeders, people having children. I'm talking about a good mother. She's learned through pregnancy and carrying a child and having to say no to what she wants to eat the things that that baby needs. We have found ways to exercise self-discipline and self-control that men lack. I'm sorry. I don't see a whole lot of men with a lot of self-control. They're lustful, they make temporary pleasurable decisions, they don't delay gratification so that they can get somewhere in a relationship, get somewhere with a woman, um, get somewhere with their children, get somewhere at their job. They're very much controlled by their whims and their lust. Yeah, I said it. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree with me. But I know it's true. It's more true than it's not. This is a fruit of the spirit many men would benefit from. Just telling yourself, yes, but yes, that woman's fine, but I have a wife and children at home. So this 10, 15 minutes with her is not worth my whole life. And that's not a character assassination or man bashing. I'm just using that as an example or a case study. And from things I encounter in my practice, that a lot of times when I have men seeking counsel with me, the situations they're in would be changed immediately with some self control over what they're looking at and what they're listening to. And we've said this often, affairs don't just happen, they begin with conversation. So, some self control in conversations. Who are you talking to? What you talking about? So, got off on that tangent. There's somebody that I just said that to that was for you. And God put this on my heart to say in this teaching about self control for you that you need this self control. And it's not that complicated. Don't over Christianize it and spiritualize it beyond recognition or beyond application. You can exercise self control no matter how far gone you think you are. Start at one, start at the beginning. Okay? I gave you some little things that you can start disciplining yourself and telling yourself yes, but to. So you can start. And then it's a snowball effect. I promise you, it's a snowball effect. You will notice once you accomplish a certain amount of time being disciplined with going to bed on time, it's easier getting up. And it just snowballs and domino effects into your life. And then you can take on that next area for self control. You need it. I need it. We need it. This is a very important subject. And it's lacking in society right now. That's why we're seeing all of the madness and pettiness and evil, just the whims of men. We need self control. So, hope something was said today that will help you. I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor, and this is the Achieve with Dr. C broadcast. Be sure to join me. My next broadcast, I will have Casey Richardson on with Blaze Inc. She's going to talk about life changing. She's made some massive, huge changes in her life that I can't wait for her to share with you. The process she went through, the bravery she showed, and how she was able to completely change her life. And now she's helping others. change theirs. Have a blessed rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you on the next Achieve with Dr. C broadcast. Bye.